2015, at your alma mater, Yale University, here is the sequence of events. The administration sends an email suggesting that the students use caution in choosing their Halloween costumes so as not to offend other students.
Of course.
One lecturer at Yale, a woman called Erica Christakis, sends an email saying that maybe students ought to value the importance of free speech and perhaps push back against the idea that administrators tell them what Halloween costumes to wear. Her husband, Nicholas Christakis, who, by the way, is a very accomplished physician and sociologist, sends an email supporting his wife's position. It happens that he's the master of one of the Yale colleges, Silliman College. And then this is what happens in the courtyard of Silliman College.
The exception is because other people have rights too, not just you.
Walk away. Walk away. He doesn't deserve to be listened to. He doesn't deserve to be listened to.
An unsafe space here for
I
all.
deny-
Stay quiet. For all Silliman students. You understand that? As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in Silliman. You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
No, I
stop.
don't agree with that.
Then why the did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the hired you?
Heather, there we have 19 and 20-year-old students defying the master of a Yale college and telling him that it's his job to create a place of comfort and home. What are we to make of this?
It's the Cultural Revolution. This is the nadir of American education. This sort of insanity, the narcissistic victimology of these students thinking of themselves as oppressed at Yale is the height of delusion. And yet they are a product of the Yale bureaucracy. They are being encouraged in this sort of complete hysteria. Another moment in this 3-hour tirade that was directed at Nicholas Christakis.
That we gave it, what was that, 30 seconds
30
of something
seconds.
that lasted for 3 hours.
It gets worse than that. The cursing, the disrespect, it is utterly shocking. One group of students shouted out, "We're dying," allegedly referring to the endangered status of Yale's minority students. The kicker is this: the president of Yale, a little bit after this outrageous episode, conferred a racial justice prize on 2 of the participants and said that he'd never been so proud of his student body in his life.
And promised, if I have this correct, and promised to add $50 million to the diversity budget of the university.
Well, that was actually a promise made before, but he reiterated it just to encourage the notion that Yale was trying to erase discrimination at Yale.
And Nicholas Christakis resigned as master of Silliman College.
And his wife resigned as a teacher at Yale completely because they were the then target of vandalism. There was graffiti on their house. At the graduation that year, students refused to shake his hand. This is completely out of control, Peter. And Yale is not alone.
So 2017, a little more recent incident, Claremont McKenna, where you yourself had been invited to speak.
Yes.
I want to come to the reasons for what on earth is going on first, but first I want to establish what is going on, how bad it is, which I have to say, I thought I had an idea, but the book is shocking. Students, you are invited to speak at Claremont McKenna. Students circulate a statement that reads, I am quoting this because I couldn't make it up. Heather Mac Donald is a fascist, a white supremacist, a war hawk, a transphobe, a queerphobe, a classist, and ignorant of interlocking systems of domination that produce the lethal conditions under which oppressed peoples are forced to live.
Yes.
Close quote.
They're ignorant of grammar, but we will leave it aside because colleges are not supposed to teach good writing, right? They're simply supposed to teach victim identity.
So what happened to you when you attempted to speak at Claremont?
Well, the students blockaded the auditorium and didn't let anybody in. I had to be brought in under police escort through a back alley through the kitchen, a secret passageway, but nobody else could get in because about 200 students were outside banging on the plate glass windows. I gave my talk, which was on policing and a counter narrative to the Black Lives Matter nonsense, calumnies against the cops, to an empty room. But the students were still outside banging on the plate glass windows and shouting, and at some point the police decided they couldn't guarantee my safety any longer, and I was escorted out back through the kitchen into a waiting squad car.
Wow.